When you are functioning but not full. Now listen to this. The greatest tragedy is not that we live busy lives, but that we live disconnected from ourselves. Hey, this lady, listen to this. She's showing up. She's doing everything right. Showing up, holding it all together, but something feels off, not wrong, just not right. She's functioning, seemingly doing it all right. But she's not full. She is actually empty. And as we end this year's International Women's Month, we explore the moment everything begins to shift, the moment our bodies start to demand to be whole through our innermost emotions, our physical bodies, and all that exists around us. Welcome to the Hope Ignites Healing Podcast with your host, Dr. Lillian Kalisa, a space where we speak everything holistic health and healing. This is a space for women especially who are seeking to find healing, that is, from a place of inner completeness, making small, simple, and yet tangible steps towards full health and therefore a lifestyle of healing. In this space, we believe in the 1948 definition of health, that health is a state of complete emotional, physical, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. And through my personal story and all the medical knowledge gathered through the years, this is now the mantra with which I live my life and teach others to do the same. Now let's redefine health together, shall we? Welcome to Season 4, The Rebirth. Welcome, my friend. Welcome, my amazing listeners. Thank you so much for giving me a chance again to speak into your lives. Happy International Women's Month as it comes to an end. I hope you had a fabulous, lovely International Women's Day, intentionally focusing on where is it you're giving from, especially as a woman. So in this episode, when you are functioning but not full, as usual, I will start at story time. Now I want you to imagine a woman. Let's call her Melody. Now this woman could be you that is listening to me. Melody wakes up early. She prepares for the day, way ahead. She gets herself ready, checks in on her family, responds to a few messages before she even leaves the house. By the time she steps into her work day, she's already carrying a full mind. Does that sound familiar? And guess what? Her day is structured, by the way. She has meetings in place, decisions made to perfection, responsibilities ticked off. She is reliable. She is capable. She is respected. People literally depend on her. And guess what? She delivers. But somewhere in between, the quiet moments, something feels off for Melody. Not dramatic, not urgent, just a quiet heaviness that just cannot quite be named because nothing is actually wrong. But yet something is not right. She finds herself more tired than usual, more irritable than she would like to be, less connected to herself and the people important to her. The things that once brought her joy, they feel distant and even draining, if I may say. And yet, Melody keeps going because she is strong, because she's responsible, because that is what is expected of her. Melody is functioning, but she is not full. Now, from a clinical perspective, this experience is not imagined. For the so many years that I've done clinical medicine in family practice, I have seen this story displayed in almost every lady or every client, almost every one of them that's sitting before me. Because I'm in an urban clinic, right? And this is the classic example of somebody in the urban area. Now, research shows that chronic, unprocessed stress keeps the body in a prolonged state of activation. That is what we call the sympathetic dominance. You are literally on the run every moment. There is something your body is demanding to do. There is no time for rest. There is no time to digest. It's always time to work. Over time, this then affects your sleep, your mood, your concentration, and even your immune system. So this feels like there's something that's off, right? And often the body is signaling that it has been carrying too much for far too long, even coming up with symptoms. But do we actually listen to what the body is saying? And the truth is, Melody is not alone. Many women and men live in this space. But I'm inclined to speak more to women. I'm a woman, and my assignment is to serve women. Women are showing up, or even men, they're showing up, they're holding everything together, they are doing what needs to be done. But quietly within, there's a feeling of a gap that lies between functioning and fullness. Functioning, right up there, fullness, right down below. There comes a moment when functioning stops feeling like strength and it starts to feel like survival, like a job, right? Now, if I might go personal, right? My own personal journey, my own realization. I know this moment very well, and I speak from experience because I lived it. I was doing everything I had been trained to do very well. A good doctor, a good wife, a good mother, a good friend, a good sister, a good community person, or good community engagement. From the outside, everything looked right. I was smiling, I was getting it done. I was in the right body shape. But internally, something was desperately missing. I remember asking myself, who takes care of me? Where do I take my heart to be healed? Or, as the famous song goes, where do broken hearts go? Because in all my years of training, I had learned how to treat disease. Had I learned how to treat the heart? But I had never been taught that hearts can heal. Not physical hearts. I'm talking about that place where only you can reach. That emotion. And once I saw that, I could not unsee it anymore. I realized that there was something missing. Guess what happened after that? Disruption and awareness. And this is what I want to take you into, my listener. Awareness is not always comforting. It is actually disruptive. Hence the Rebirth series, right, of the podcast. Because once you realize that something within you is not well, the old ways stop working. You cannot ignore it because it's so loud. You cannot outwork it because it's there right before your eyes. And you cannot distract yourself from it because it's speaking to you every day. I mean the realization that there is a disconnect between functioning and fullness. And guess what happens? A tension begins between the life you're living now and the life your inner self is asking for. That part that only you can touch. This is not a breakdown. I don't want you to think that things are falling apart for you. This is awakening. This is realization, and it's an important step towards your rebirth. Neuroscience helps us understand this, that when we begin to notice what we have been avoiding, the brain shifts from automatic survival patterns into conscious processing. And this activates areas of the brain responsible for reflection and emotional regulation. Things we've talked about here, right here at the Hope Ignites Healing podcast. But it also temporarily increases discomfort, that situation. And in simple terms, this is what I'm saying. Awareness feels unsettling before it becomes freeing. So are you at that place of discomfort, unsettled? Why am I functioning and not full? This is a state that each one of us has to go through. It will lead you to the crossroads. It will lead you to a place of where am I going? I'm stuck. And here, every woman arrives at a crossroad, even men. But again, I'll speak for women. I've had this far too commonly. I am at the crossroads. Where do I go? Quiet but defining. Now, there are 3 parts when we get to this place where you're at the crossroads. You're tired. Where am I going? I thought I had it all together. Where is this taking me? Is it really working? Let's go through the 3 parts. The first one, to go back to functioning, to suppress what you know well. That is usually an easier way to go about it. You choose to go back to the system because you have no solution forward. It's easier to go back to that system of functioning, of ticking boxes, of doing it right and not getting emotionally connected. You suppress that feeling of crossroads, that feeling of desiring to awaken. That's the first path. I hope you don't stop at that, my listeners. The second part is to stay in awareness, to stay in that state of something is wrong, but you're not moving forward. To think, analyze, consume the situation and know that something is wrong, but no change is happening. That is also dangerous. I don't want you to stay there, my listener. And then the third path is this, the path of rebirth, where you begin to ask those questions. What needs to change? What needs to be released? What is trying to emerge inside me? What is me telling myself? And hence the rebirth. We're talking about the rebirth that requires you to realize where you were and see where you're going. We've said it before right here on this podcast that rebirth is not a moment. Rebirth is a process. And rebirth requires you to slow down, you to have that honest self-confrontation with yourself, emotional processing. What am I going through? What do I feel? What is my body telling me? What's my inner man telling me? Spiritual anchoring. This one is important. True spirituality is you anchoring to the higher power, that there is something beyond you. That is important. And then creating new systems that take you through the steps of a rebirth. Not just insight, but structure. You need a revisit of the systems that have been keeping you just functioning, the systems that you have in place right now. Which ones of them are you taking forward for you to be well? What are your systems for wellness? I'm talking about the systems like the part where you're setting systems, daily deliberate quiet moments to stop and look inwardly. When was the last time you just stayed still and quiet without a phone, without music, just you and maybe a deep breath, right? Daily moments to listen from within. What is your heart telling you? How do you feel? Moments to simply breathe and allow your lungs to expand to capacity. When was the last time you did that so that your brain opens up, so that your circulation improves through your body, so that you relax? The moment to open a book and read, not because you're in a hurry to tick a box, but because you genuinely want to dig into the pages of that book. To take a walk or step out to get emotions into motion. Exercise, not because you want your body to be well, but because your mind needs that freshness, because your body needs to be anchored in motion. To dream, affirm yourself and see your best self become a reality. Now, practices like these, the ones I talk about, slowing down, deep breathing, journaling, and movement, are not just wellness ideas. These are evidence-based ways of regulating the nervous system that is screaming at you for help, and to your body, by the way. If I can make it even simple, slow things like intentional breathing has been shown to reduce cortisol levels and improve heart rate variability, a key marker for resilience, a key marker of resilience. I'll give an example. When a patient comes into the consultation and their heart rate is up or their blood pressure is up, we tell them to calm down, take a deep breath, give it about 3 to 5 minutes, take the readings again. Believe it or not, blood pressure can actually lower back to normal, heart rate as well. Well, maybe not back to normal, but you see a difference that if I give this patient maybe another 15 minutes to settle down, I'm going to have right readings. That's what deep breathing does to the body. Journaling, on the other hand, has been associated with improved emotional processing and reduced mental load. So journaling, brain dumping, all this reduce cognitive load and give the body and the mind more space to work, to create, to plan. Now, these small consistent practices are how the body and the mind begin to reset. Those daily ways of living that support the woman you are becoming are extremely important, but they are often skipped because awareness without action does not transform. There has to be steps of action and nothing complicated. Even today, choose just one thing and say, every day for my mind, I'll take a deep breath for 5 minutes, right? 5 is even too long. 2 minutes. Or every day, I'm going to journal something I'm grateful for. Just write it down and let my mind know there's a lot of positive in the world. I want here to remind you of the WHO definition of health, where my podcast started. And now for me, it's not the podcast, the intro of the podcast started. For me, it's not just a definition. It's the mantra with which I live my life and teach others to do. That health is a state of complete emotional, right? Physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. What does that mean? That it is possible to be functioning, ticking all boxes for roles well done, and still not be well, right? WHO is telling that from way back in 1948. Now, I want us to shift that identity, my listener. Walk with me through this. The moment you notice and become aware of your need to shift and actually take steps towards it slowly, something will begin to change. I'll say that again. The moment that you notice and you become aware of your need to shift and you actually take the simple little steps towards it, slowly towards the shift, something begins to change. Not just what you do, but who you are, who you're becoming begins to change. One little step at a time. You are no longer one who simply copes. You are becoming one who lives with intentionality. You are grounded in your wellness. You are clear about what is important and where you want to go regarding your health. The why is so clear. I often tell my ladies, clarity is in the doing. And you are whole. Don't we all want to be whole? And this is what it means to become the significant one. This is the journey of true significance. It is a journey of being well and wellness as the backbone of that journey. No wonder our 1-year mentorship program at the Holistic Health Hub called The Significant One takes ladies through these small steps into wholeness so that by the time you're stepping out into the world, you're truly significant, and that significance has come from fullness from within. Oh my goodness, the stories are amazing. We had most recently just finished a graduation for the same, and I'll tell you the ladies speak exactly of these steps transforming their lives. And now let's return to our melody. Remember her? This time, something has shifted in this lady. Yes, she still wakes up early. She still has responsibilities, even more probably. Meetings and duty still calls. She still has decisions to make. Her life has not become lighter, but she has. She no longer rushes past herself. She notices when she is tired and responds with intention. She creates moments of stillness, even in a full day that even is more full than it was before. She listens, especially to her heart, and can connect to herself inwardly. She listens to her God. She has communication with Him. Her decisions are clearer. Her boundaries are firmer, more firm than never before. Her presence is deeper. The room feels her, and guess what they're saying? There is something different about Melody. And above all, her body is truly healthy from the inside out. She has put in the time, she has done the work, and these small investments into her bank of health and wellness required her to be well and be articulate about what wellness means to her. Melody is still functioning, but now she is so full. She is well and she is whole. Now, as we finish, my listeners, look, if you ever find yourself in such a space as this lady, Melody, when functioning is no longer enough, please hear me out. Hear this clearly. You're not breaking. You are being invited to listen. You're being invited to something deeper that is way deeper than just living. The question is no longer, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with everybody? The question becomes, what is trying to be born from within? Let me ask, are you willing to walk that journey? Are you willing to go through the long haul? Functioning can keep life moving, but only fullness makes life meaningful. Now listen to this. Where we started, the greatest tragedy is not that we live busy lives, but that we live disconnected from ourselves. You, my listener, can make the choice to connect from within. And that when you give, you're giving from a place of abundance, not from a place of strain. That's what I wish for each one of you. I'll tell you, I've had to walk this journey, and now I teach ladies to do the same through the program called The Significant One. She stands out. By the time you stand out and the world sees you're significant, you put in the work on the inside when nobody was watching. You put in your investment in your bank on the inside when nobody's watching. That's where we all want to be, right? It's been nice to hear from you. It's been nice to serve you. It's been nice to share with you all these nuggets in this 2026 International Women's Month. So my listeners, you take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of that inner person. She is delicate. I'll see you in the next episode. Always here to give hope through health and above all to add the glow to medicine. Your host, Dr. Lillian. See you later. Bye-bye.